Good evening and welcome to Caffè Lena. Thanks for watching this live stream production from Saratoga Springs, New York. These live streams are made possible by the generous support of the Sarah B. Folk Charitable Fund and by our community of subscribers. Special thanks to our Virtuoso level subscribers and lifetime Caffè Lena members. By buying a ticket for this performance, you're supporting independent music and the mission of our historic nonprofit venue. Enjoy your front row seats for this show, live from Caffè Lena.
Good afternoon and welcome to Caffè Lena. Thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. We have a wonderful Little Folks show for you guys. Not only is it just something so wonderful that we're proud to be a part of in this community, but we're so proud of these young storytellers who are going to be on the stage today. So let's give them a huge round of applause. All right, and to tell you a little bit more about it this afternoon, I'm going to invite Paula up on the stage. Let's give her a huge round of applause, everybody. And if anybody didn't grab one, we have more of these up front, and they'll tell you about today's speakers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brittany. Oh, it is a little bit scary up here. The kids tried it already, but I didn't try it. We are totally thrilled to be here to present our storytellers to you. I'm Paula Weiss, co-founder of Children at the Well, which has been offering our storytelling program for 20 years. Yes, 20 years. A little over a year ago, we developed a story coach training program that a number of us who are here today participated in. And then in the spring and in the fall, we've been involved in practicums working with the storytellers under the direction of Stephanie Ward, our lead story coach, who's not here today. During that time, for more than a year, a number of people have been driving, making a long drive to the Latham area from Glens Falls, from Amsterdam, from Albany, and from Saratoga to learn about storytelling and learn how to coach the kids. The kids have been so patient and kind with us as we learn. They're really our greatest teachers. I can't tell you how great it's been to work with this group of people and the coaches, the storytellers, and the parents who have been called upon to bring the kids at various times. And it's not always that straightforward. Let's put it that way. Everybody's enthusiasm, creativity, and dedication has really been downright life-affirming. Okay, storytellers, I have a message for you from a genius storyteller named Sheila Arnold that some of you met on Zoom. She says, bite a tongue and have fun. So story coach Carmen Ross will introduce the first three tellers.
So I'd like to share a quote, a poem, I think more so, from one of my favorite storytellers to get us started before I make our first three introductions. This is from Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, one of my favorite storytellers. Whenever a story is told, it becomes night. No matter where you are or what time of day it is, the telling of tales creates a deep awakening within each of us. Like the wisp of a cloud, something lingers in the air from a story or tale that is shared. And what is left behind is the bounty for each of us to work with, to grow and enrich our lives. May we all be enriched this afternoon with the stories that we are about to hear. So our first three storytellers, each of these storytellers has their own unique style, which I think you'll find very fun and engaging. Ariman is an energetic and animated teller who will be telling his own version of The Three Little Pigs. Mishika is a spirited and thoughtful teller who will be telling the story of the birth of Krishna. And Kashvi is a bright and caring teller who will be sharing the story of the rainbow fish. Ariman, come on up.
Hi, my name is Armand. Today I'll be presenting The Three Little Pigs. So once upon a time, there's these three little pigs. And the 3 little pigs' names were Tom the first, Tom the second, Tom the third. So then one day their mom, Mrs. Toms, told all 3 of them to leave because they were old enough. So they all left. So Tom the first, the oldest and the laziest, he met a man with hay, and then he said, "Hey, can I have some hay?" And then the man said, I don't think that's a good idea. And then Tom the first said, "Mind your own business, please." And then he took the hay and started building his house. And then nearby the same place, Tom the second met a man with sticks, and he said, "Hey, can I have some sticks?" And then the man said, I don't think that's a good idea. And then Tom the second said, "Oh, mind your own business, please." So then nearby the same place, Tom the third met a man with bricks. So he asked, "Hey, can I have some bricks?" And then the man said, "It will make a fine, sturdy house." So then he took the bricks and started building his house. But there was this hungry wolf. He came from doing exercise. So he went to Tom the first. And then he said, little pig, let me in." And then the pig said, "Not bad, I have my chinny chin chin." And then he said, "I will huff, I will puff, and I'll blow the house in." And then Tom the first said, "Go right ahead." So he huffed, he puffed, and blew the house in and gobbled up the pig. But his stomach was quarter full, so he went to Tom the second. And he said, little pig, let me in." And then the pig said, "Now I better have my chinny chin chin." And then the wolf said, "I will huff, I will puff, and I'll blow the house in." And then Tom the second didn't respond. So he huffed, he puffed, and blew the house in and gobbled up the pig. So then he went to Tom the third. And then he said, little pig, let me in." And he said, "Now I better have my chinny chin chin." And then he said, "I will huff, I'll puff, and I'll blow the house in." And then Tom the third said, "I don't think that's a good idea." So he huffed, he puffed, he huffed, he puffed, he huffed, he puffed, he huffed, he puffed, until he turned blue. So then he said, I was just kidding. So do you want to go for apple picking?" And then Tom the third said, "Not right now, I'm busy. So how about later, at 6 tomorrow?" And then the wolf agreed. But the smart Tom went at 5. But it was a far place, so he was on the tallest tree that time. So by the time he was getting off, he saw the wolf. So he looked around, and then he saw an apple. So he took that apple and threw it far so the wolf could get it. So the wolf went, and he slipped down and went back home. And in that exact night, the wolf came to his house and he said, "Hey, where were you? I couldn't find you." And then Tom the third said, "Oh, you were taking a long time, so I had to leave." So then the wolf was like, "Okay, how about we go at 5 to the circus?" And then the pig said, "Not right now. It's kind of late." So then the wolf said, "Okay." So then but instead of the wolf going at 5, he went at 4. But the smart Tom the third, he went at 3. But he was having a fine time, so fun he didn't know what was the time. And then he saw the wolf that was right down the hill. And then he looked around and saw a butter churn. So he jumped in and wobbled that butter churn and then rolled down the hill. And so the wolf got so scared he ran all the way back home. And at that exact night, the wolf came to his house. And then he said, "Where were you?" There was this big oval thing that was chasing me down the hill. And then Tom the third said, "Oh, that was a butter churn, and I was inside." So the wolf got so mad that he climbed on the house and went to the chimney, and he called it out, "Tom the third, I'm coming." So he jumped in. By the time he could realize there was a hot pot, he dropped in, then got cooked up, then eaten. The end.
everyone, my name is Mishika Sharma, and today I'll be telling you the story of the birth of Krishna. A long time ago, in a city named Mathura, there was a bad king named Kans. He was greedy and only cared about himself. One day, the city was filled with celebration. There was music all through the streets, and flowers adorned the hallways. As Princess Devki was getting married to Vasudeva, a noble and kind-hearted man. Even Devki's brother, King Kans, himself was very happy. But then suddenly the sky darkened and a voice thundered from the sky saying, "O Kans, the 8th kid of your sister will be the one to end you and your evil." And so the king was very scared. The joyful mood shattered, and the king's smile vanished, replacing with terror and rage. He took out his sword immediately to kill Devki, but then Vasudeva quickly stepped forward and pleaded, "Brother, please don't kill her. She's innocent. We promise we'll hand over every single child we have to you." So the king thought, and then he spared Devki's life, but instead he imprisoned them in a dark dungeon. Years passed within the stone walls, and as Vasudeva had promised, each child Devki had was killed cruelly by the king. And Devki's sorrow deepened, but her faith in God remained unbroken. So when the 7th kid was to be born, something magical happened, and the baby was transferred to a nearby village. And the king thought the baby already died, so he waited desperately for the 8th baby, the one who was supposed to kill the king. And when the 8th baby was to be born, it was a dark, stormy night, and when the clock struck 12, the baby was born. He was very cute. He was the color of dark clouds, and he had glamorous and shiny eyes. He was very beautiful and very peaceful. And all the guards outside the prison cell fainted. So there was no one to tell the king about the baby. And the chains locking up Vasudeva, the father, just disappeared. And the same divine voice was heard again. This time, the voice said, you should put this baby in a basket and bring him to a safe village nearby named Gokul. And instead, you should bring back the daughter born to Nand and Yashoda and give him to the king." So that's what Vasudeva did. He placed the baby, who he named Krishna, in a basket, and he put the basket on his head and went outside to put the baby in a safe place. On the way, he had to cross the river Yamuna, which was flooding because it was a stormy night, of course. But when the river felt Krishna's presence, it parted for them. So Vasudeva and Krishna could cross the river carefully, and they safely did cross it. And when Vasudeva reached the village, he went to Nand and Yashoda's house, who were sleeping peacefully. He carefully replaced the babies and brought back the baby girl born to them. When he came back, he showed the baby girl to Devki and told her that they have to give this baby to the king. They both were feeling very guilty because, of course, why would you give someone else's baby to be killed? But they had no other options, so that's what they did. The guards had woken up by then, and the chains had come back. So the king rushed to the prison cell, and he tried to grab the baby. But when he tried to hold her, she slipped out of his hands and turned into the goddess Durga herself. She started laughing at the king, and she said, "You foolish king, the baby who's supposed to kill you has already been born, and he's in a safe place. And then she disappeared. The king was scared. He rushed outside and ordered all his soldiers, all his guards, to go find the baby and kill him no matter what. But he didn't know that the baby was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu himself. So of course, no one could kill him. And in the future, he sent many demons and many monsters to kill the baby, or the boy, Krishna, but he failed. And as the prophecy had said, the boy Krishna came and he killed the Kans, who was no longer the king now, and he freed his parents, Devaki and Vasudev, and he brought back peace to the city. And this was the story of Krishna, a story filled with love, hope, and bravery. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kashvi Soni. Today I'm going to be telling you the story of the rainbow fish. One day a fish got out of its bed. It had shimmery, sparkly scales. It was known as the rainbow fish. So one day the rainbow fish was just swimming along the ocean. Then she heard all the other fish call, rainbow fish, come play with us. The rainbow fish would always ignore the other fish and then swim away. So then one day the little blue fish came up to the rainbow fish and asked, rainbow fish, can I please have one teeny tiny scale of yours? The rainbow fish said, no, why would I ever do that? These are mine. I'm gonna keep them to myself. Then the rainbow fish just swam away. The little blue fish was so sad, so she told all her friends what happened. And she said, guys, the little blue fish didn't give me one of its scales. I'm so mad and sad. Let's not call her to play ever again. So all her other friends agreed. Then the rainbow fish noticed that nobody was calling her to play. The rainbow fish felt lonely. So she went up to the starfish and asked, Starfish, why is nobody asking me to play with them? The starfish replied, I don't know. You should go deep down. You'll see a dark cave. You'll meet the octopus. Maybe he knows why. So then the rainbow fish went deep down, just like the starfish said. She found a dark hole, and then out of nowhere appeared the large purple octopus. The rainbow fish was about to say something, but then the octopus interrupted. All right, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say that nobody is asking you to play, and that's because you're not giving them the scale. Just give everybody one scale, and then they'll play with you. So then the rainbow fish said, no, my scales, give them away. Why would I ever do that? Then the rainbow fish just swam away. Once again, the little blue fish came out to the rainbow fish and asked, rainbow fish, can I please have one teeny tiny scale of yours? The rainbow fish thought, and then she said, sure, why not? So she carefully picked out the tiniest scale she could find and then gently gave it to the little blue fish. The little blue fish was so happy she started swimming around in joy. So the little blue fish told all her friends that, guys, the rainbow fish gave me one of its scales. I'm so happy. then all the other fish wanted a scale too. So when the rainbow fish was just swimming by, all the other fish were like, rainbow fish, can we please all have one scale, viewers? The rainbow fish thought again and again and again. And then she said, sure. So she carefully started picking out all her scales that she had except for one. That one she would keep for herself. So when all the other fish called the rainbow fish to play, the rainbow fish would always say, here I come, the end.
Wonderful. No, it's going great. They are amazing. And it's so nice to see how the magic happens. As soon as they get on stage, they just like bloom. You know, it's wonderful. Anyway, I have the pleasure, my name is Marisa, sorry. I have the pleasure to present the next three storytellers. And the first storyteller is Kriti, who's an enthusiastic and a very convincing storyteller, who's going to share with us the story of the three wise brothers and a camel. I would say, watch out for the details. There's some surprises there. The next storyteller would be Tame, who's very bright and has a great imagination, and she's going to share with us the story of the tortoise and the hare in her unique style. And the third storyteller, not the last, is Inaya, who is very talented and has a great spirit, and she's going to share with us a true family story titled Just a Dream. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Kriti Soni, and today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of the three wise brothers and the camel. But before starting the stories, I want you guys to observe this box and try to guess what could be inside it. I want you guys to think throughout the story, but don't say out loud, not yet. And I'll just start the story. Once upon a time, in an old village, lived an old man who often told his three sons, my children, we don't have money or gold, but you always have your keen eyesight and your sharp brain to always rely on, and you'll succeed. Soon after, he unfortunately died. But the brothers, getting bored in the village, decided to roam the world and explore. After 40 days of difficult journey, they finally came to a stop when they saw a tree. They sat down to relax. It was a beautiful day. The path was green, the road was muddy, the grass was green, the sky was blue. It was the perfect day to actually find a good village. And so they decided to walk on. And they started walking. The oldest brother looked down and said, a huge camel just walked by here. The brothers agreed, and they kept walking. Then the middle brother looked down and said the camel was blind from one eye. The brothers agreed again, and they kept walking. Then the youngest brother said the camel was carrying a woman and a child. The brothers, all in unison, said, yeah, that's right. And they kept walking. And soon after, they met a horseman. And the horseback rider said to them that, hey. And he was looking around anxiously, so they thought that the man was looking for something. The oldest brother said, hey, are you looking for something? And the man was like, yeah, I am. The oldest brother said, is it a camel? The man said, yeah. And the oldest brother said, is it big? The man said, yes. Is it blind from one eye? Yeah. Was it carrying a child and a woman? Yes, so you guys must have been the ones who stole my camel. You're coming with me to my king, said the horseback rider, and took them to their king. At the king, the brothers said calmly, my majesty, we haven't stole your camel. We haven't stole anybody's camel. We haven't even saw a camel throughout our journey. We just observed the signs on the roads. We haven't stole the camel, believe us. But the king was still suspicious, so he decided to bring in a box. So he decided to bring in a box and told the brothers to tell me what's inside this box. And then the brothers observed it for a few minutes, and the oldest said, "It's a round object in there." The middle brother said, "It's a pomegranate." And then the youngest said, "And the pomegranate is still not ripe." The king opened the box, and he was so astonished to find it was a pomegranate in there. It was round, and it was not ripe. So he couldn't hold in his curiousness and asked the brothers, "How'd you know?" The brothers calmly explained that because when the box was brought in, it looked really light, and I heard something move around, so it must have been a round object. The second brother said, "Because it was brought from the garden, it must have been a pomegranate." And the youngest said, "Your garden fruits are still not ripe, so it must have been unripe." The king was so surprised. You would want to see his face at that time, because you wouldn't have seen a king so surprised. He was so surprised, dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say, except one question he still had. He asked the brothers, "How'd you guys find out the camel then?" And the brothers also, again, calmly explained, "So when we looked down, we saw like big footprints, so we thought they were camel's footprints." The middle explained, "When I looked down, one side of the grass was all eaten, while the other was untouched. So the camel must have been blind from one eye to not see the other side of the grass." And the youngest said that when the camel knelt down, there were footprints of a woman and a child leading to it, so he must have been carrying them. And the king was like, "Yeah, that all makes sense, but wow, that's crazy. How'd you guys find that out?" So he didn't have anything to say to them because there was nothing else to say. So all he said was, your guys's fortune is your mind and your eyesight. Come feast with me and I'll give you anything you want." So the king invited them for a dinner, and they had it happily, and the king provided them all the resources they needed, and they set off to journey again. So the brothers found fortune, not in money and gold, but by their sharp minds and their keen eyesight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tanmay. Today I'm going to tell the story, The Hare and the Tortoise. Once upon a time, the hare was walking around every day. But suddenly, one day, he saw a random shell nearby the tree. And he thought this would be a perfect place to rest on. So he rested on for a few minutes, and inside that shell was a tortoise. The tortoise was saying to himself, "Who was interrupting my reading? It's a nice book." He came out of the shell. Before he even came out of the shell, the hare got off the shell because it was shaking and hid behind the tree. And then when the tortoise came out of the shell, the hare thought to himself, "Oh, it's just a tortoise," and got to the tortoise and said, "Hey, tortoise, do you want to have a race?" Then the tortoise said, "Of course I would." But the tortoise had a question to the hare. The tortoise said, "Hey, hare, where do you want to race?" The hare said, "I will take you a place. It's a field with nothing else except for green grass." So he took the tortoise to the place and got some animals, which are their friends, to cheer for them. The race began. The hare was running so fast that the tortoise nearly could not reach. So the hare ran so fast and stopped nearby the tree and slept for a few minutes. Now remember, he slept for a few minutes because he wanted to see if the tortoise was kind. So he did this race with many other people, but they weren't kind. So he slept for a few minutes and woke up, and he looked and looked, but he still didn't find the tortoise. And he slept again and woke up. He looked and looked, but still did not find the tortoise. So he slept again. Before he even woke up, the tortoise came and tapped on his shoulder and said, "Hey, hare, you're not supposed to be sleeping in the middle of the race." Then the hare noticed that this tortoise is kind. So So the hare woke up, stood up, and said, "Okay, I will not sleep," and said, "How about we run?" So they ran and ran and got to the finish line. And they crossed the finish line together. The animals were shocked because they only saw one person winning, but not two people. So then the hare asked to go to the park. Then the tortoise said, "Of course I can come." So they went to the park, sat on a bench, and they were knowing each other. But then they want to know more about each other. But then the park was closing, so they went to a trampoline park. At the trampoline park, they sat down on a bench and knowed more about each other. Then when they were returning home, they think they were good friends. So when they got home, the hare asked for a sleepover. When the tortoise said, "Of course I can come," he went to his house, locked the door, packed his stuff, and went to the hare's house. It was so colorful and beautiful, and they lived happily ever after. Thank you.
I think that's good, yeah. All right. Hello, my name is Anaya Usher, and this is the story of my grandfather, Dr. Haider Ali Insaf. Many years ago, if you looked at the streets of Dewas in the 1940s, you'd see a young boy studying underneath a streetlight. The boy loves to study and learn, and he studies underneath the streetlight by night, and he works at his grandfather's shoe shop by day. He was sent to his grandfather's shoe shop because his own father realized he had no money to support him as a kid. So he worked extremely hard, and he works at this shoe shop, putting in all of his effort and all of his time to be a good student and also help his grandfather out. The boy grows up, and his 10th grade exam's near. He works extremely, extremely, extremely hard, and he gets top of the whole state when his exam results come out. However, the boy cannot continue with his education. His grandfather cannot support him despite his many pleadings. He just doesn't have the financial situation to support him. But then, one day, the king of the state hears about this boy who got top of the state and isn't continuing to college. And he does the only thing he thinks he can do. He goes to his grandfather's shoe shop and asks the grandfather, "Why aren't you supporting this child?" The grandfather explains he doesn't have the financial situation to do so, and the king gives the boy a scholarship to go to Indore and study at a college there. So the boy goes to Indore and he studies at the college. While he's in Indore, he gets a recommendation to Aligarh Muslim College, which is one of the best institutes for Muslims in India. So, of course, he does the only thing he can do. He leaves home. He leaves home with no money in his pocket and no plan. He goes to Aligarh Muslim College and he begs the headmaster, an extremely kind and intelligent man who later becomes the first president of Free India, for a scholarship to go to Aligarh. And the headmaster thinks and looks at all of his grades and medals and decides that this boy deserves a scholarship. So he goes to Aligarh and does his bachelor's degree there. While he's at Aligarh, he decides he wants to be a doctor. So he goes to a doctor near there and kind of just asks him, "How do you become a doctor?" And the doctor just laughs at him because, well, in India, if you're poor, many people think you can't do the same things that wealthy people can. As my grandfather walks out, agitated and upset, he sees that this man has the MRCP degree and decides that degree, I'm going to get that degree just to prove to this man that I can be better than him and I can prove him wrong. Now, the MRCP degree is the member of the Royal College of Physicians degree. The Royal College of Physicians is in England. this boy has no money for med school, never mind a degree in England. He soon realizes this and decides he needs to get into med school. So he goes to Grant Medical College, which is a college, well-known medical college near there, and asks the headmaster there for a scholarship. And he finds out they have no money for one. So he goes to the Parsis, who are practitioners of Zoroastrianism, and he asks them for an education loan. They give it on the condition he brings it back when he's able. So he goes to Grant Medical College, and he studies there, doing his MD there, doing his residency. From there, he gets tuberculosis, and he's rushed to the hospital, and they have to take out half of one of his lungs. I'm sure many of us have gotten picked and poked in many different ways, but half a lung, I cannot imagine that. He has to spend half a year recovering in a sanatorium. And while he's in the sanatorium, India begins a war. And he thinks, oh no, I have this degree that I want to get in England, and I am stuck in the sanatorium, and India's borders are gonna close. So he thinks about it, and he leaves his MD and goes to England on a ship, working all sorts of odd jobs to pay for that. When he gets to England, he works more odd jobs, like locum and doing notes for people. Locum is filling in for a doctor. And soon he gets enough money, and he takes the MRCP degree test for Edinburgh in Scotland. Then he hears that the London exam is harder. So of course he wants to take that one instead. I would have taken the easier one, but that wasn't the person he was. So he goes to London, he takes that exam, and he passes with flying colors. From there, he goes back to India and decides he wants to go to America and migrate, because a lot of people during that time were migrating to America. So he goes to the Indian embassy, and he wants to ask them advice on moving to America. Then one of the officers there sees that this is a very bright and intelligent young man who would do a lot to help India, which was a new country during that time since it had just finished its war. And he tells this boy that India is more needy of people like you here than America is. So, of course, my grandfather decides to stay in India to become one of the most renowned doctors in the city of Bhopal, just because he had a dream. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Coach Franklin. It's hard to believe we are almost at the end of our little show. We have two more storytellers that I'm going to introduce. So first we have Hemenya, who is a creative and thoughtful storyteller. And our final storyteller is also our youngest storyteller, Kashvi, who is sweet and precocious. Come on up, Hemenya.
Hi, my name is Heyman Yamure, and today I'm going to be telling you guys a story about the monkey and the crocodile. Once upon a time, there lived a monkey. No family, no friends, but still was happy and lived his life. He lived in a tree near the riverbank. He would eat some such sweet fruits and mangoes. One day, there was a crocodile resting at the tree where the monkey lived. And the monkey, which had no friends or family, asked the crocodile, "Hello, would you like some fruits of mine?" And the crocodile, who always eated fish or ocean creatures, said, "Yes, I would love to taste some of your fruits." So the monkey tossed some fruits to the crocodile, and the crocodile ate them and said, "Oh, these are such delicious fruits ever." So they were friends. The crocodile would come to monkey every day, and the monkey would toss the fruits to the crocodile, and they would have fun. One day, the crocodile asked, "Oh, would you let me take some of your fruits for my wife, Mrs. Crocodile?" And the monkey said, "Yes, sure." And so the monkey gave the crocodile some fruits. The crocodile took the fruits to the wife, and the wife ate the fruits and said, "Oh, these are good. Where did you get them from?" And the crocodile explains, "Oh, I got them from my friend. He lives in the trees the opposite side of us." The monkey and the crocodile explains to his wife how they become friends and how they don't know about each other. The wife thought for a second, "Oh, if the monkey that eats these fruits every day, how tasty would the heart of the monkey be?" So the wife orders the crocodile to get the monkey by tomorrow. The crocodile said no at first, but after the wife said, "Oh, well, I'm the queen of the house." Next day, the crocodile went halfway through his journey to the tree. He was sad because he's gonna lose his friend, and the other halfway through he was happy because he was trying not to tell the monkey that he's gonna get killed. After reaching to the monkey, he asked, "Oh, would you like to go to the dinner tonight with us?" And the monkey said, "Yes, enjoyful." And the monkey got some fruits, but before he started, he asked, "Oh, I can't swim in water, so how am I gonna get to your place?" The crocodile says, "Oh, that's no problem. You can just hop on my back." And so the monkey got the fruits, hopped on the crocodile's back, and started their journey. They went halfway through, and the crocodile started sinking. The monkey was really scared. The monkey said, "Don't sink." But the crocodile didn't listen. The monkey tried to stay on the crocodile as long as it could. After both of them sank down, the crocodile knew the monkey would die anyway. So he said to the monkey, "Oh, my wife told you to. My wife is gonna kill you today and eat your heart because it's gonna be tasty." And the clever monkey said, "Oh, you could have told me that before. You know how always the monkeys, before they leave, we leave our hearts at the tree where we lived." And the crocodile said, "Really? Then let's go get your heart. That's the main thing." The monkey hopped onto the crocodile's back, and they rushed to the tree. The second the crocodile stopped at the tree, the monkey got off of the crocodile's back and rushed up the tree as fast as he could. After reaching the top branch, he said, "Oh, you fool, you fell for my trap. Would you think an animal could breathe without a heart?" And the crocodile was fooled. And the crocodile went back. Halfway through, he was really sad that he had no friends anymore. And went to the house and told the wife, "Oh, I didn't get the monkey to you." And the wife said, "Well, you got fooled." And the wife mocked the crocodile and said, "You got fooled by a monkey and you didn't get me the monkey." and they got in a fight and they didn't talk to each other for a while. After hearing what happened to the crocodile, the monkey was happy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kashvi Sharma, and I'm going to be telling the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Cinderella, and she had a very poor life. She lived with one stepmother and two stepsisters. The two stepsisters were very jealous of Cinderella's kind heart and beautiness. The stepmother said to Cinderella to pack up all her stuff and move to the attic. Cinderella didn't know what to say, but while Cinderella was packing up all her stuff, the stepmother locked her room up so she couldn't get out. Every night, Cinderella would ask her friend Mice to get her the key so she could lay down with the campfire so she doesn't get cold. And while she was with the campfire, she would fall asleep. The next day, the two stepsisters were getting ready to go to the ball, but Cinderella couldn't go because the stepmother said to Cinderella to do all the housework and just don't go to the ball. Cinderella was very sad and she didn't know what to say. While Cinderella was doing the housework, she went to her room and started to cry, but suddenly a fairy godmother appeared. The fairy godmother said to Cinderella, "What happened?" Cinderella was very shocked to see her. But Cinderella said, "I wanted to go to the ball, but I can't go." The fairy godmother said to Cinderella to bring one pumpkin and 7 mice. At first, Cinderella didn't know what to do with that, and she was confused. Then she got it. With the pumpkin, she would turn the pumpkin into one beautiful carriage and the 7 mice into 7 horses. And she did the same. Then Cinderella's fairy godmother turned her dress into a one royal blue color dress, and the slippers into royal blue glass slippers. Cinderella was very happy, but before she came in the carriage, the fairy godmother told her to come back before midnight. Cinderella listened to the fairy godmother, and she went in the carriage and left to the ball. Well, the prince was choosing who to pick to dance with and marry. He picked Cinderella, and the two stepsisters didn't know it was Cinderella because she looked so good. And they danced and danced and danced until it was almost midnight. Cinderella noticed that, and she ran down the stairs until her shoe fell, but she didn't have time to pick it up. The prince said, "Just dance for a teeny tiny bit more." But Cinderella said, "Sorry, I can't, I have to go." Cinderella said bye-bye. The prince noticed the shoe and said, "I'm going to find whoever's shoe this is right now." The prince went house to house to house until it was almost midnight. At first, it was the first girl's turn. It was too small. She was frustrated. Then it was the second girl's turn. It was too big. She was frustrated as well. And then the the Cinderella was asking her friend Mice to bring her the key because they were so sure that they could go down the door. And they brought her the key, and she went downstairs and went downstairs, and she sat on the couch. But the two stepsisters said, "You can't try the shoe." And the prince said, "Let her try the shoe." Cinderella worded it, and it was perfect for her. The prince said, "Will you marry me?" Cinderella, with happiness, said yes. They left to the palace, and they continued dancing, and then they lived happily ever after. The end.
And that's the end of our little performance. Can we give our storytellers one more round of applause? And if you want to learn more about Children at the Well, you can go to our website at withourvoice.org. Maybe you know a young person who would like to learn how to tell stories, or maybe you know an adult who would love to learn how to be a story coach. But yeah, thank you all for coming.